fouling hurt us a lot. If you're right about it, I will not be mad. We've been able to kind of change the flow of the game with our physicality, but last 10 games, the officiating has kind of gone back to what we're used to it being. The first 10, they let us play a prison ball. Yeah, it was hard to kind of get the flow. Like you said, it kind of took us, put us on our heels a little bit. They had 20 free throws in the first half, and it was just hard to get the rhythm and the momentum back. Unless you have 25,000 to spare, I'm going to stay away from officiating comments, other than to say it was a tough night for us on that end of the whistle. Yeah, we should expect to get better each day.
Oh, nice. Nice. Come on, get this fucking ball in. What the fuck, ref? Let's go. What? Holy shit, ref. Oh, it was so hard to see that the other night. As much as I would love to bitch about the whistle the other night, I'm going to refrain from doing so. Really, Freddie's comments just talk about the physicality changing in the league. It was supposed to be a situation where you come out, be a little more physical, and they would call less fouls. But what he's saying is that's reverted over the last 10 games. And so we are going to need to be more careful with guys like Tatum and, the Bradley Beals of the world, the Durants, all of those guys that are used to going the line like James Harden. And you can watch that play here over and over again while I sit there and bitch, throw the ball in, ref, throw the ball in, ref. Like 3 Celtics were sitting there. They couldn't throw the ball in. Anyway, rather than bitch, and rather than be like the Chicken Littles out there, who I featured in my last video, which if you're interested in my take on Dragic trades and all those sorts of things, go check it out. I'll link the thumb at the end of the video. Usually I say this at the end of the video, guys, but I'm gonna say it here instead. It is not about winning this season. It is about winning the Larry. So I wanna talk about a Christmas party I was at the other day, and I was speaking to someone that had gone to Tibet a little while ago. And she was saying how they went through the mountains. And I was thinking, when you're trying to climb a mountain, the goal is the summit. The goal is the top. And yet, they don't just send you straight to the top, do they? There's all of these checkpoints, okay? There's these checkpoints as you go up the mountain. Let's say that you're there for a week, okay? We're trying to climb Everest. We got a full week. So in terms of our Raptors trip up to the summit of Mount Larry, I want you to, instead of thinking it as camps, I want you to think of these camps as having to happen within our window, which instead of it being a week to climb Everest, it is actually currently, according to Masai and Bobby's work they've done, it's looking like it's at least 23-24, if not 24-25 for our window, as you can see, okay? And 23-24 gives us most of our young team to really have a shot at this and to retool like we did in 2019 and go for it by moving guys back then like DeRozan, Jakob, and eventually I cried so hard, maybe more than I did for DeMar when Jonas had to leave to bring in Gasol. The thing is, when we go up these mountains, they're dangerous. They're dangerous for our young guys. They're dangerous for our Precious Achiuwas. They're dangerous for our Malachi Flynns. They're dangerous for our Gary Trent Juniors. They're dangerous for our Justin Champagnes, and they're dangerous even for our young Scotty Barneses. As we saw the other night, we're really hopeful with Scotty, but he came out and he was guarding Tatum because we have such faith in him and we're trying to push his development. But then he makes mistake number 1, right? And it was awful. And I try to show it here. They didn't really capture it on TV. But then he makes number 2 mistake, and it's a speed bump, and we sub him out for Utah really quickly, just so he can collect himself and get back in the game. But these are the hiccups we're going to see from these young guys. They're in trouble. Even the amazing Scotty Barnes is in trouble as he climbs up this mountain. So what do we need when we go mountain climbing, guys? When we go to the summit of Mount Larry, we want to make sure we're increasing our chances. So we don't just walk up the hill by ourselves. We bring our guys, the guys that have done it before. So who's done it before on our team, right? We got Sherpa Nick Nurse. These are called Sherpas for mountain climbing. We got Sherpa Nick Nurse, okay? But who else have we got? So leftover from 2019, we've got Pascal. We got Fred VanVleet. We got OG. And behind the camera here, you can't quite see him, the Bloc Québécois himself, we got Chris Boucher, who should not be underestimated. He was coming out of the G League that year and stomping. So these are our Sherpas. We got Sherpa Nick, we got Sherpa P, or I'm just gonna call him the Sherpa, the Sherpa. And then we got the original gangster Sherpa, Fred Van Vliet Sherpa, the Bloc Québécois Sherpa. And then I would actually argue that we have one more Sherpa, guys. And he's one that a lot of us are underestimating right now. And I think he's maybe the most interesting one to look at. And that is the Dragon Sherpa, okay? And these young guys are being led up the hill by our guys. And just because Dragic is not playing, folks, does not mean that he is not a major part of this process, this development process. I am sick and tired of people saying trade all our players away because the season's not looking good. And then in the same breath, those guys comment on videos I'm commenting on saying, oh, we're known for our player development. You can't develop players that you trade away. So 2 games in a row, I watched Spicy P dive for loose balls. They were his turnovers, but he dove for both. I think one, he ended up getting a foul, and then the one the other night against the Celtics, he ends up causing a jump ball. To me, this is very encouraging. And the reason is because what did he do well when he came into the league? His motor, right? His effort, okay? When I see P giving effort again, I'm in. Because the thing that P offers is very rare. So his motor was missing. His effort, his drive has been missing. But now we're seeing it again. And when his effort is there, I already know what his stat line looks like. Only 2 other guys in the league have his stat line. I said this last video too. They are Jokic, the reigning MVP. Oh, and then the MVP before him, Giannis. Stat line for freaking Pascal, OG, and Scotty Barnes is filling categories. They're like fantasy pool, like gems, gods, okay? So guys, before we're selling the team, let's remember that it's a long trip up the mountain and we're looking to get to the top. We're looking for Larrys. We are not looking for participation medals saying that we made the playoffs. As much as playoff experience would be good for our youngsters, it'll be even better if they get a lot of minutes right now, make their mistakes while it's the regular season. Nick Nurse can look at different player combinations to see what best can be used, what combinations can best be used to get us up the summit of Mount Larry. What are the different checkpoints, the different camps along the way to move us up the mountain? And this might take not one season, but a few seasons. So when we're talking about Goran Dragic the other night, we saw some news. This was from Bobby Webster. Goran is taking some time away from the team with our full support to manage a personal matter. He has been a complete professional in the time he has been with the Raptors. Goran has the backing of Masai, Nick, and the entire organization, and we wish him nothing but the best. Okay, so people are speculating that he's gonna be traded. That's possible, but in my last video, I threw out another proposal, and that had to do with Sam Dekker not being extended the rest of his contract. Masai and Bobby are smarter than you and I, and they set aside a timeline where they decided, okay, we're gonna actually stick with Goran, and because our team is looking good. This is at the point they cut Dekker. The team was looking good. Suddenly, they start doing things like resting guys that aren't that injured, such as OG. And then they rested Precious Achiuwa. Why? Because everyone was bitching online about Precious shouldn't be starting, Precious shouldn't be starting. Why were they starting him? They were starting him to give him reps, and then they gave him a break where he rested and Kem came back so that he could watch tape. And anyone that's been paying attention has noticed that Precious Achiuwa's decision-making the last few games has been much better. Guys, I am telling you, that is a trip up the mountain. Precious Achiuwa making better decisions is part of his player development. Guess what OG's doing right now? Guess what Gary Trent Jr. is doing right now with his sore quad? Instead of playing through it like he would in the playoffs, they're giving him a rest, and last night we saw more minutes for Bonga. We saw more minutes for Justin Champagnie. We saw more minutes for Malachi Flynn because we're resting our guys, and they are not just sitting at home eating bonbons watching MacGyver. They're freaking watching tape and getting better, and we are right now playing through P, Fred VanVleet. We're letting Malachi get minutes and play the offense. Guys, you do not sell the whole farm. If you are a franchise that is known for player development, you don't sell the farm because you're not winning. We expected not to win, guys. We are on our way to up Mount Larry, and all of you guys that want to trade Siakam are only going to make it partway up the mountain. If we keep this core, we make it all the way to the top. And Goran Dragic, in my opinion, is a major way that we get up there. Goran Dragic may not be moving at the deadline, and it has to do with our player development and seeing how these young guys perform. He'll be like Kyle. We have his bird rights. Goran can get the most money if we re-sign him. Either re-sign and keep or re-sign and sign and trade. So the fact that he's not playing and the fact that he went home to rest and see his family has to do with this. He's not being traded, guys. He might be at the deadline, but he's not being traded right now. We're giving him time with his family. He can relax, make his easy 19 mil, and the whole time he knows that we are deciding whether we're going to keep him and make a run or he's going to go to another team that has a chance. I don't think Goran's upset not to be playing. Anyway, keep an eye on Precious. Keep an eye on all these development things. Keep an eye on the fact that we're resting guys that aren't that injured. Why? To give our bench reps, to develop our young players. Anyway, guys, don't forget, it's all about the Larry guys. We are on our way up the mountain. Hey, Kawhi, how come you didn't want to stay in Toronto and be one of our Sherpas? Kawhi, I'm freaking talking to you.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
That's bullshit, Kawhi. Your laugh is
This
stupid.
is Chef's Kiss approved. Mwah!